More than 5 decades ago, Chuck Searcy was a US intelligence analyst during the Vietnam War in what was then called Saigon. Today, he is again living in Ho Chi Minh City, but this time he's fighting a different war against unexploded mines. On Wednesday, the communist-run country celebrates 50 years since the end of the Vietnam War. And for Searcy, that day remains a vivid memory.
On April 30th, 1975, when the tanks crashed through the gates of the presidential palace and the war was over, I was in the U.S. I was watching it on TV. And it really brought tears to my eyes because it was emotional for me because it was such a huge relief, like a terrible burden lifted off my shoulders that the war, this terrible event in history, had come to an end.
Though Searcy had returned to the US, he was back in Vietnam by 1995, when then US President Bill Clinton announced a normalization of ties between the two countries. Here he is speaking at the time.
It's time for us to really put the war behind us and those years of differences and isolation and form a partnership for the future.
The Vietnam War lasted for 2 decades and killed nearly 3 million Vietnamese on both sides. 60,000 Americans also died, many of them young soldiers drafted by their government. And a painful legacy of the conflict also persists.
Specifically, bombs and mines, which have killed and injured more than 100,000 Vietnamese since the war ended in 1975. But also Agent Orange, which has caused terrible misery for so many thousands of families.
In Vietnam, Searcy co-founded Project Renew, which aims to help people gravely injured by mines and teach children to stay away from them. It also deploys teams of deminers to clear the country from unexploded ordnances left from the 5 to 8 million tons dropped by the US during the war.